Hey, what's going on, everyone? I had to cut my mic on for a second. This your boy Freeze. Let me get my hat too. I've been so focused on a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, man. Welcome to the Deceptilab. This your boy Freeze with the weekly live stream. And today, we got some updates for our new bot. So that's gonna be Dreadwing on the Decepticon side and Wing Saber on the Autobot side. And in the spirit of Christmas coming up, holiday season, I am going to go over my wish list. Sat down today and I listed out 5 things that I kind of wish for in Transformers Earth Wars. So it should be fun. So that said, start getting your wish list together as well for what you want to see in Transformers Earth Wars. And on top of that, um, just in the spirit of the holidays, I'm going to be giving away some 5-star shards. So 5-star bot and combat shards today. Giving those to my members. So this is your forewarning if you have not become a member to the channel. Then make sure to do that. And if you do, tag me in the chat so that I can add you to our poll. I'm actually going to take a look right now to see if we got any new members after I announced that earlier on Discord. But yeah, I'm going to give that away. I always, whenever the apes give me some stuff, I try to give it to my members first because they've been supporting me, so I want to give them some support back. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Um, but anyway, before we talk about any of that, let's go to the newsletter. Ripping Grip says the Decepticon hat is required. Well, ooh, I did not put the link in here for that. That is last week's event, so give me a second. Now just continue chatting with you guys while I do that. But yeah. I remember the last time I came up here without any hat on, and like it was just crazy. Like everybody's like, "Yo, you're bald," and I was like, "Yes, I'm bald, man. I'm almost 44 years old, man." I say, "Yeah, I got a thin spot in there." I said, "Well, you know what? I'll just go ahead and cut my hair, shave it down." And everybody was like, "Yo, you're bald," and I started getting all this funny stuff in there. They was like, "Yo, baldiest Max is about to stream." It was hilarious. So, um, yes, I need to make sure that I am wearing my hat. But yeah, it's all good. Just in, somebody got to represent for the Decepticons too. So it's all good. All right, this week's event is called A Little Luck. I don't know what week in the saga it is anymore. They talking about week 6. It's whatever week it is in the saga, man. It's changed so much, this saga. But it is the week of endurance event. So, and as we talked about last week, is a lot of people that weren't exactly happy about that. A lot of people travel for the holidays and stuff like that. Like, I actually am just gonna have a nice, quiet Christmas at home, and I'm off from work this week. So, yeah, I actually got a new job or whatever. So, for those who've been following the channel for a little while, for me, I just got done with the military. So I am just had my retirement party on Friday, and I start a new job on the 30th. So this week and next week I'm off from work, and I'll just be in there. I'll just be chilling out, getting ready for my new job. So um, for that reason, I got time for the endurance event. But yeah, man. So same old same as far as the event. You get 3.5 mils for the guaranteed 5-star, and then for the 4-star, you get the 1.5. So overall, pretty much the same. Some of the prizes you can get your new wing saber or dread wing, and just lots of prizes. They ain't even really talk about all the prizes, but typical endurance prize chart. Your spark, your 5-star shards. I could use those because I want to go get me some. I want to get enough 5-star shards. I want to rank my last 2 bots on my war team to captain. So that's going to be my focus this weekend. And since the Cyber Pass has a sergeant and a captain rank in there, they got all the different ranks in there this time, but the captain rank, I want to use that this go around to rank up um, Flatline, which is Minerva for you Autobots. And then I also want to give rank to Rodimus Unicronus, who's Inferno for you guys on the Autobot side. So that's my goal. I want to max out a couple of bots, um, which I'm really close to already. So should be a fun time. Mayhem mode makes everything easier. So they show the typical battle zones up there, but in the little asterisks, they say Mayhem mode is enabled. So you can get approximately 3 times the battle points. I'm not going to say 3 times because it depends on your zone and what you're built for. Not going to rehash that. Candyman missed the last couple of streams and had to watch it on replay. So now he's in the chat saying he happy he could finally make it. All right, so game updates and information. Now this one was kind of a big blow. Now I will be honest with you. The player, Freezius Max, wasn't upset about this. I was talking to several people today about the newsletter change. So, starting with the new year, the newsletter is going to be issued on Thursdays instead of Wednesdays now. And I'm going to come back to that a little bit in a second. That's going to be a difficult to maneuver for my channel. Obviously, we talk about what's new. The newsletter, it's already been a complaint of mine that we get some of this information in the letter a little bit too late. Like, you should know some of this stuff a little bit ahead of time. Now I got this slot on Wednesdays where I go, make my content, and now they're saying the newsletter is going to come out on Thursday. I originally started streaming on Thursdays, um, but then obviously, was streaming on Thursday. I don't try to stream on the same day, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. I got a couple of weeks to think about it, whether I want to just go Thursday in the afternoon, or after Waza does his stuff, or if I want to go on Fridays. Uh, I'm thinking what I'll probably do is I'll probably just start if it's something new that's going on. I'll probably make a live video on Wednesday about it, and then I'll probably just live stream on Fridays. Honestly, um, I was talking to my son earlier today, and he's a freshman in college, and he wants to start doing some volunteer stuff, working with children, and he wants to be a basketball coach. It's his first time doing it, so he wanted me to actually join him because I've got some basketball coaching experience, and so I'm gonna end up. Long story short, I'm gonna end up doing that on Mondays and Wednesdays anyway. Granted, it's before the live stream starts, but I don't want to have to rush. So, um, all that said, stay tuned to see how my 2025 content schedule is gonna go, and and I see David Lee just got a basic membership. Thank you for joining, and remind me, I will add your name to that list of for the giveaway list. But yeah, so all that said, yeah, I'm gonna have to play. I'm gonna have to take the next 2 weeks. I'm off of work. I'm gonna figure out how I want to adjust my content strategy. So bear with me. Whatever I do, I'm gonna try to stay consistent though. So if I do Thursdays, I'm gonna try to stay consistent with that. If I'm gonna do Fridays, I'm gonna stay consistent with that. I might put a poll out to let you guys know. But this was news to me that they were gonna make this newsletter change. Um, Obviously, that's where they got the most recent information. And my thing is, I like to be accurate. Now with the newsletter change player the player Freezius Max um isn't isn't really bothered by it. I feel like their content pushes come out on Thursday. The newsletters will now align with their content push. So that's okay. Um And I did talk to some of my friends earlier, and they were just like, "Well, no, because if they make a bug fix, like, and the best, Jacada's always the one that keeps me in line," and he was the one that explained it to me best. He was like, "Well, say you go make a change like they made to God, Neptune, and Ruination, and that changes they can't stun combiners anymore, and everybody thought that was something that was supposed to be part of the game, and they send out the newsletter, then they send out the content push, and next thing you know, um, you just can't do it anymore, and you don't know why." And that's a legitimate concern because Space Ape does not. They just don't do things in a timely manner. Now, I was looking at it from the standpoint of, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like they have meetings on Wednesdays or something like that. And when those meetings on Wednesdays happen, then they try to scramble to go put together a newsletter, and the newsletter's got all these errors. And then on Wednesday, then on Thursday, excuse me, on Thursday they're sending information out to Discord, but they're not sending it out to, because everybody's not on Discord. And if you're like me, I don't always pay attention to everything. If it's an announcement on Discord, sure. But yeah, I just don't do that. I don't do that day in and day out. So all the diehards that are on Discord all the time will see this stuff, but everybody else doesn't. So it's a little bit aggravating, but we'll make it through. On top of it being the holidays, this is like the week of the 3-year anniversary of this channel. So thanks to you guys for all your support. I see Rip and Griff. Um, Rip and Grip just made a donation. I appreciate that, bro. That'll really help me with my Christmas going on. So yeah. All right, so the last prime, I'm glancing at the chat here and there, and the last prime asked me what age basketball are we going to be coaching. So he had a choice between 5 and 6 year olds and 7 and 8 year olds. He chose the 7 and 8 year olds, so he's going to be the head coach. I know he probably thinks I'm going to come on there and try to take over, but no, I'm gonna be my son's assistant coach, and I'm gonna help him any way I can. Um, just because, bro, like I'm like a third or fourth generation like basketball coach. Like I say I know for sure um that generation. My uncle, he's coaches in Virginia, and then my grandfather, when he was alive, he had a whole organization of sports organization that he ran, and so he used to be coach. And I did it when I was in my younger days, but then I started getting too busy. But now that I'm retired and everything from the military, granted I got another job that I'm going to be doing, but I got enough time to coach sports again. So my son asked me to do it, and I'm gonna do it. But yeah, and Jacada made a point while we're talking about this newsletter change. Um, Jacada made the point, and we actually briefly discussed this earlier in our chat. But we were talking about that Dale wants to try to push the newsletter to get into the game. So it'll be like in that little news box that comes up in game. And that would be awesome. And that's well overdue. I'm actually surprised that I didn't write that on my Christmas wish list. But yeah, it's well overdue. You need something when you're running the game. You can't have a rumor mill for a lot of stuff. Like one thing that really gets on my nerves is when somebody's like, "Well, Dale said on Discord," and it's not an announcement. They didn't tag everybody and everything. It's just like one of those things where, well, he said in one of the channels, he might have said in Unicron chat, and everybody's not in Unicron chat, or he might have said in Cybertron chat, and people might have tuned that out. At one point, you had to be either in Unicron, or back when that was a thing, Unicron. Excuse me, you had to be in either Cybertron or Prime chat. So if you say something in Cybertron chat and at that time somebody was in Prime chat, you might not have seen it, or vice versa, and it just stuff just gets lost. And now you're relying on screenshots, and I don't like that. So newsletter should definitely be in game for everybody that didn't sign up, and that'll be great. But we'll see how it goes. All right, so we also got the new bot. So they actually added some new artwork there that I did not use on my thumbnail, but pretty cool looking. I think Wing Saber got a better, cooler look. And Wing Saber bot version has a cooler look. I like the look of alternate version Dreadwing a little bit better. So they start talking about the abilities. I made a whole graphic for that. I'm not going to go over that again. And today, 20 minutes before I started, and for those of you who were already in the chat, you would have saw this. But 20 minutes before the stream started, I ended up getting the G1 cord, which we didn't have last week. Not a lot of testing is going to take place. I mean, this comes out on Friday. Well, and the G1 core come out a little bit later, so I'll get the test before and see if it changes. But my thing is I'm big on giving guys accurate information, and so at this point, once the bot comes out, I want all this stuff to be done. And it's irritating to me that it's not done. We still got to test this stuff, and if we had to test it later, and then I don't know, it's frustrating, but we'll make it happen. Um, So obviously, like I mentioned earlier, Waz's on. I don't know. He wasn't when I was setting up for stream. He was still on. So not sure how that's going, but yeah, he should have gave away some stuff today. I couldn't actually watch because I was in here setting up. But yeah, should be giving away stuff today. 5-star bot shards, 5-star combat shards. I'm giving away as well. And one of the things that I didn't mention earlier, if you know any HQ 14s and below, and guys that have been out there working hard, and maybe they're free to play or something like that, I want to give away some cyber passes. And so just get them to get in touch with me. I got my Discord and my Line app. Most of you guys already know how to reach me, but if you don't, just give me a tag in the chat and we'll figure out how you can contact me so we can get some cyber passes out to some of the newer players. I don't want to give it to the guys that's, that bad every time. What I mean, get some of these new guys involved and enjoying Transformers Earth Wars. So. All right, let's see. It was apparently. Oh, I actually did see that. Waza put out 15 videos this week, and so yeah, make sure you check out him and the other content creators. Well, obviously, if you're watching me, then it's me, and then make sure you check out Soldier as well. It's crazy. I said I really want them to get some more official content creators. Like I'm still the youngin on the block. The OGs, Sunstreak Awaza and Soldier, been doing it for a minute, and they're really great at it. So make sure you check those guys out as well, and make sure you check out any of your unofficial content creators as well. If you guys got links, post them in the chat so people can subscribe to your channels as well. Alright, so this supposed to be week 10, some shit like that. It's Mayhem week. And then, like I mentioned last week, they're going to have some end of year / Christmas holiday type events going in there for week 11. And then Raiden and Dino King, they're going to have a Mayhem mode event for that at 50K. And then that will finally wrap up this saga. All right, let's see. What? Did I skip? Oh, okay, no, it was just because they started talking about the content creators before and then. All right. Space Ape stream tomorrow, and that's all we get for the news. So let's go over and look at the chat. And I actually did not mean to have that up yet. But yeah, that's your Dreadwing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's go check and see who we got in the chat. So, we got LJ Gav, one of my good friends and members. Thanks for joining. We got Jacada, one of my really good friends, member, playtester, man that wears every hat. Thanks for joining, Jay. Daddy Pig, another one of my good friends and one of my members. Thanks for joining. And we got Dennis Smoke 86, another one of my good friends, fellow content creator as well. Thanks for joining. We got Oil Man, one of my teammates from the Horde. Thanks for joining, as well as Rip and Griff, friend, teammate, member. Thanks for joining. Carnage McAlright has joined us again. Thanks for joining. We got my newest member, David Lee. Thanks for joining us, David. And remind me, as a matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, let me go add your name to that list for the. All right, give me a second because I'm gonna add your name to this list. All right, you are now entered into the contest for all of our giveaways today. So, yeah, because I did not want to forget anybody. All right, we got Michael Cooper. LJ Gav was making fun of me when I didn't cut the mic on. I caught it right away, so calm down. But thanks for joining. Supreme Rules is with us again. Shandy523 is with us. The commander over there, G1 PsyOps. Thanks for joining. We just had a pretty interesting war with each other recently. But yeah, definitely one of the better players in the game. So thanks for joining. Pat Mitchell is in here with us. Thanks for joining. As I mentioned earlier, Candyman, one of my good friends and members, joined us today. As I also mentioned, the last Prime is with us. And another one of my teammates, Jason Guns, wishing me a happy retirement. And he's going for the 5-star this weekend as well. So thanks for the congratulations, and looking forward to going to the for the 5-star with you. Let's see, we got Volcanic at 69. And he's hoping to get Dive Bomb, so that'll be dope. But thanks for joining. Let's see. We got. Hold on, I skipped past some folks. We got E Rods. Thanks for joining us again, E Rods. Soy Pedro Prime. Thanks for joining us. We got another one of my good friends, certainly one of my good friends from Playtest. Thanks for joining. We got Damon Swink. Thanks for joining. And we got the homie Chris Harmon, one of my good friends, moderators. Another one of those guys that wears wears many hats. Friend, moderator, one of my first members, Alliance family mate. Thanks for joining. We got Jamie Carpenter, another one of my homies and one of my members. Thanks for joining. Aaron DeJesus, Chicago Gamboa. Thanks for joining. We got Dark Terror, one of my good friends and moderators. Thanks for joining. And we got Joseph Prime with us again. But Joseph makes content as well, and I know I'm subscribed. I just need to go. I need to catch up on my content, honestly. But thanks for joining, Joseph. And yes, Dark Terror, you can mute this guy if he's not gonna bring anything useful to the conversation. I actually muted him once already, so go ahead. All right, so lots of folks in the stream today. Yeah, time them out. But lots of folks in the stream today. So actually, and if you guys hadn't seen this, what I've made a habit of doing is I've made a habit of making these graphics, talking about what the bot does, and it's kind of like I try to do these, and I usually do them earlier than this because I want it to be something that everybody can share with each other and then be like, look, this is what it does. So these are um, the original abilities and everything that we were talking about last week. And so the original ability had us go into stealth mode, 6 seconds, drop 8 free fall bombs while flying to the target, each dealing X amount of damage in a small area, and also drop a payload on the final target, dealing X amount of damage. And with the ability of 1, um, you know, and there's been some changes, but the ability 11, what it was that all 8 free fall bombs now apply glass gas to those hit, causing them to take 40% extra damage, like glass gas usually does. And then the payload also removes shields on the final target. Now, we'll talk about that. I got another graphic that talks about the updates, But long story short, they changed how many shields are getting removed, which I think is kind of fair when you're doing all the glass gas and everything. The G1 on top of that, and I was just talking, um, before the stream started. Everybody talks in the chat, and Jacada had made the comment that, um, and I don't want to misspeak, but I'm paraphrasing that G1 was a little underwhelming. So it's going to increase its health bar percentage at the final target is destroyed by the ability to explode, setting fire to targets in a medium area. And that's the old version of G1. We're going to actually show the new version of the G1 here in a bit because there were some updates. So let's go look at the updates. So this week, well, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, they changed the bot health. Um, and they increased it by 16%. They wanted to increase his survivability. So since this time last week when I was streaming about it, they changed that. They increased his DPS, so now he's going to be a little bit in the higher end of aerial class bots in terms of normal damage. That payload damage has been increased by 20. So apparently it was doing 20% less than it was supposed to be doing. They also increased the free fall bomb damage by approximately 20% because that was a little underwhelming. And they increased the ability cast range by 7%. So that should be a lot better. And the range was good, so that's going to be really awesome. And now the ability 11 is going to apply glass gas for 40%, increase damage to targets hit by free fall bombs for 6 seconds. And instead of it removing all the shields in the area, it's going to remove shields from the final target. So, all that said, let's go over to the battlefield and we can actually test this stuff out. I got the G1 on deck and we can see, actually, that's the wrong screen. We can see how it goes. And I still see people coming into the chat. Let's see, we got Sylvlastra. Let me know if I butchered your name. But thanks for joining. And they said that I guess um, this is supposed to be the rework for Power Glide until they change their mind. So about that, and I mentioned it on one of my previous streams. So a couple of weeks ago, well, it might have been a couple of months ago now because we've been working on Power Glide and Cyclonus that long. Um, Dale came into the playtest chat and he told us he's like, we're gonna be changing the ability on Cyclonus. He was real focused on Cyclonus. He wanted Cyclonus to be cool, and he had already told us then another bot's gonna be coming. It's gonna have a similar style ability to Cyclonus, but we're still gonna get Cyclonus, and he had some really good ideas for what he wanted Cyclonus to do in Power Glide. So I'm looking forward to that. I told him what I thought because to be honest with you, the ability he wanted to give Cyclonus really should have went to Galvatron, in my opinion, just from a lore standpoint. Um, but we'll see how it goes. We're just not there yet. But yeah, this is very intentional. Um, we'll just see how it goes. All right, so Madman Mardigan says if the G1 core is underwhelming, perhaps the new bots are candidates for a primer and flat combo. That's always a good way to go when you are working with the aerial class bot. So yeah, I can see that. Um, like I said, the G1 came in while I was setting up for stream, so this will be my first time looking at it. So you'll get a good, clean, honest opinion about what I think about it. But yeah. All right, I got to go ahead to attack certain Lee's base. I appreciate that. And Snowy Days has joined the chat. Thank you for joining, Snowy Days. All right, so I do want to go talk about this new bot and the changes in the G1, but I think let's go do because it's going to be 3 giveaways today. Let's do the first of the 3 giveaways. So let me switch over to that screen. And not really a whole lot going on. I got like little ads and stuff that pop up there. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna do these throughout the stream and make sure everybody's paying attention and stuff. You know what I mean? Um, so the first drawing I'm gonna do, it is going to be for. So it's gonna be three different drawings, but it's two different prizes for the drawings. So I am able to give away a total of 750 bot shards, 5-star shards, and I'm able to give away 750 combat shards. So the first one is going to be for 250 bot shards, and I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel. And of course, that's when the dogs come out. All right, so Brother Concrete just won 250 bot shards, and so we are going to, yeah, we're gonna remove that from, since he already won. And congratulations, Brother Concrete. So we will also give away 250 of the combat shards. So let's go spin for that. All right, and Foxter Bomb. Foxter Bomb also won. So Deceptidog about to go crazy, so y'all can see him. Had to pick him up. So say hi to everybody, Deceptidog. But Foxter Bomb just won 250 shards as well. I'll remove that entry. And we got two more chances at this. So if you guys have not done so already and you want to be involved in the giveaway, then make sure to subscribe or make sure to become a member of the channel. All right, Cicada also gave me the go ahead to attack his base. But all right, so I'm gonna start out. Let's see. So I'll start out attacking certain Lee's base since we already in the same alliance. All right, so let me set up my team. Now I gotta drop some of this. So this is what my original war team looks like. I'll take Wild Rider out, and I will stick Dreadwing in. So this is what we're looking at. So I actually got him to level 70 now. No ranks up there, I just got him at private, but he is going to do quite a bit of damage. Um, Actually, I do want to rank him up. I want to rank him up to see what's the absolute most he can do damage wise. 'Cause ground damage is important. I've been focusing on it a little bit harder as of late. But wow, okay. So at Captain, he does 1.7k. A little over 1.7k, which is really huge. Does that make him the highest damage dealer in the game for just normal damage? That's up there. I know there's a couple of bots in there that I use. Wild Rider is pretty high. Acid Storm, so Wild Rider and Blue Streak are high. Acid Storm and Slingshot are pretty high, but this is higher even than that. So that's dope. When you get him to captain, so um, so definitely good damage when you look at that ability we just talked about. Um, to put it in context, that's what the numbers look like. Uh, so well, actually, I think they changed the tooltip. They might not have changed mine on the con side. They do that sometimes. But this is what you're looking at, dealing 669 damage. Glass gas those hit. So they'll take 40% extra damage. Now this is what's actually going to look more appealing for combos. So you're going to have it do the glass gas. The G1, which we'll talk about, is going to add some fire to it. So now you're going to have it do a little bit more damage. That makes me a little bit slightly more impressed than I was with the bot, because I've been telling everybody, I was like, look, it's not that great of a bot. I always go for the 5-star versions anyway, just because I only do like 2 large events per, you know, per big saga anyway. But yeah, now it's going to do big damage at the end. Well, not big damage, but more damage than it was doing at the end. And so LJ Gav is in the chat saying that stealth mode should really be last at least 8 to 12 seconds, so he doesn't get shot to death on the way back. Um, so I don't disagree with that. I think you just have to plan a little bit better, like um, when you're trying to use it, because you might have to go take out, if you got anti-air cores, you might have to take those out. Missile launchers, you might have to take those out earlier. But at the end of the day, let's actually take a look at this G1, because they increased its health on the G1 by 15.5%, and that's for the maxed out G metal. If the final target of Dreadwing stealth bomber ability is destroyed within 8 seconds, it explodes, dealing. So that's the tough part. You have to actually destroy that target. So the goal when Space 8 made this was for it to be like a combo type ability. Um, my thing is, everything's a combo type ability these days because of how high the health points are. So for me, oh, and I didn't consider that. Let me actually look at the damage again, because I got the 32 extra percent from the 5-star fracas. But base damage of 911.7 is still pretty significant. Oops. It's still pretty significant. But if you destroy something, then with this ability, then you'll get 3 times DPS fire damage over 8 seconds in the area, which you can, I'm assuming you'd be able to use with the glass gas. So yeah, let's just check it out. We'll do a run hard mode against certain Lee's base and see how that goes. And we just see that RG just joined us. Thank you for joining us, RG. So I do already like the range on this thing. I do want to give it some time to get a little bit closer to the shielded items. Alright, so let's see how it looks against those shields. Alright, so it looks like that's actually working properly this time. That's good. And then you're supposed to have a little glass gas going on as well. And that looks good too. Now, with that said, I could see myself. Now, a lot of times I use like my white Crimzeeks and stuff like that, but I could see it comboing with like right now I'm using Leo Prime and I'm talking, so I'm kind of moving kind of slow. But yeah, I was able to clear out that huge cluster. So now I can see value in it now that now that everything works properly. Like when I was saying it before, you know, nothing was working properly. The damage was too low, like all this stuff. But now looking at it like that, it's honestly not that bad. It's better than it was. So, yeah, no, that's pretty impressive. I'm put the dog down, so I don't want him hollering through the entire stream. But yeah, now that I got the G1, I got everything going at the same time. It's not bad at all. Hey, and Autobot Phil joined the chat and says, "Sorry, I'm late to the party." He was watching Waza as well. Hey, man, all good, man. Like I like to support all content creators and stuff, and that I imagine, especially today with the giveaways and stuff. You probably was deep into it. So, yeah, nah, man, like welcome. Michael Cooper says this bot seems to have a lot of parts, but still manages to do a whole lot of nothing. I, I and all the way up until right before this stream, I was kind of down on it, but like now that everything works properly, it's not bad. So here, just for the sake of looking at the shielded cluster, now there were some complaints that this was overpowered at first, and a lot of people asked me about it because it was another tester that was like, "Hey, it's overpowered because you're clearing out every shield in the entire cluster before we even get started." And I didn't necessarily agree. And I always know when something major happened in the game because every single person that I know in Transformers Earth Wars, they started all hitting me up at the same time. And so one of the testers said, "Hey, this is overpowered." But this was before we had any of this stuff working. So like now it's actually pretty powerful. But at the same time, I mean, like some of the tactics that you use, I already use, like I use with Scully and Warpath, like, you know, like here, they give you the glass gas effect, and then I'll follow it up, in a straight line with like a Leo Prime and Predacon Inferno, and you get the same effect. But I do, if you guys been watching for a while, I do love the leapfrog abilities. And so what I mean by that is if I have something that does a similar ability, I like to use other abilities along with it that are similar because it reduces the cost that you're using. And my good friend Trax has joined us. And he said, first off, he says, did someone mention giveaway? Absolutely. And he said it was. I told everybody to come over here. But it says once you destroy the shield generator, the cluster goes anyway, and that's a good point. If you can get rid of the actual shield generator, that entire cluster goes anyway. So it's not really a matter of dropping every single shield in an area. Um, honestly, it's just like, all right, well, we're gonna get some glass gas, and you can just drop the shield generator. So I do see the point in that also. Hey Waza, what's going on, man? I see he joined the chat as well as King Kill War joined us. Thanks for joining. But yeah, man. So yeah, that's a good point though, Trax. Just looking at like, you know, typically you just want to get rid of the shield generator. But I mean, if you get rid of that, all the shields are going anyway. So what difference does it make? Um, and and I think it's still like that in test, but we actually had it when it was destroying the shield on the HQ. But it's just like, all right, well, you're probably going to destroy the shield generator before you get the HQ. But I do understand that HQ is supposed to have resistance and stuff like that. So yeah, Shock Bomb 28 joined us as well. Thanks for joining. All right, so LJ Gav up there, and I might have to pick at LJ Gav a little bit just because you one of the main ones to do it. But no, that's cool. We're on stream. But updates. If we got updates on stuff, man, like I'm a monetized content creator now. I don't make money from keeping that stuff away from you. But there have been some minor changes. I'm probably not going to talk about them tonight because we still don't have anything to show you guys. But there are some minor changes that have been going on in the background as far as what Dale intends to do with Predaking and Volcanicus. Um, One of the abilities they're gonna try to do like that Megatronus effect that a lot of people wanted. Um, once we actually start testing it, which should be later on this week or early next week, then we can talk about it more. So B Games asks, is Guy and Half Shell the good combo? It can be. It's an expensive combo, but it's a good combo because you're gonna get the ice explosion. All right. So next, I want to actually talk about. Uh, well, actually, I want to do another giveaway real quick. So let's. Oops. Well, that screen is gone. So let me see. Where did I put that screen? All right, there we go. All right. So another 250 of our bot shards. Let's give those away before we move on. A and Trax, who just joined us, just won. So hit me up. All you guys that win today, hit me up. Tell me what you won. So Trax, congratulations. You just won 250 5-star bot shards. And then we're going to give away now 250 of the combat shards, 5-star combat shards. And Lord Agrippa just won the 250 combat shards. So congrats to him. And like I said, all you guys hit me up on Discord line app. Most of you guys hit me up on a regular basis anyway. So we can talk about that, and we can make sure that you get your stuff. I'll give you the instructions you need to make sure that you claim your prizes. All right, so I was going down my list today, and I actually need to take this down, and I need to let me get it set up real quick. So this is my wish list for 2025, and it's just kind of something that I just threw together. There's obviously other problems that I got in the game, and I'm gonna go. I only put 5 things on the list, and number 5 on that list, actually, as a matter of fact, for all you guys that are watching, uh, let me know what items you want to see. What do you want to see Transformers Earth Wars change to make the game better in 2025? And so one of the things that I was looking at, and I was like, man, like we've been selecting all of these bots, all the way since around this time last year. I had my interview with Dale, and one of the things that he was looking at was, he was looking at what we were looking at the fact that when you go get these combiner pieces, now people don't always want the bot. A lot of times, what people want is they actually want the combiner piece. But I was like, well, let's incentivize using some of these bots and that are parts of the combiner. So I'd like to see a little bit of a buff for if you use the combiner and the bot together. So that could be kind of interesting. So that's one thing that I want to see. Um, but number 4, and actually, I want to. I gotta make a new doc because what I want to do is I need to open up the chat so I can see what everybody's saying. And you guys aren't wrong, but just the sheer bluntness of the comment section right now, I gotta stop and read this because so let's see. Waza says he wants better endurance bots, and you know I haven't been upset with the endurance bots lately. But there has been definitely a period of time when I was like, I know this time last year when I was doing the interview about endurance bots, when I was doing the interview with Dale, and obviously you were still talking about some of this stuff when you did your interview with Dale this year. Um, they they they've gotten better in some regards, somewhat original, more original, but it's still room for improvement. Um, so yeah, but I can see that one being one. Um, Another comment wasn't made said better planning. I think we all can agree with that one, and that's actually well, I ain't gonna give away my list, but Snowy Day said a half shell cost reduction. I do agree with that. I think that when half shell and Roadbuster, and it sucks because they were doing too much damage, and if you didn't sit down and calculate every single little tick of damage, then you thought that what it was doing was correct. But I think it would have been the right thing to do to be like, hey, there are games I play when they say, hey, this was doing too much damage. And there are games that I play that when a nerf happens, very rarely does anybody ever get upset. And it's because they balance it so well. So they say, oh man, we messed this up, it's doing too much damage. But in return, we're just gonna lower the price because we don't want to charge you, you know, 7 points on your initial use, and it's not doing the damage that you were used to it doing. So that should come down. Uh, let's see. B Games wants free skins. Trax, and I'm laughing at Trax because he's like, Dale is just happy he kept his job right now. Let's see. Supreme Rule says Prime Shards for binary bond. Now, I think it might be too soon to go use your Prime Shards for binary bond equipment. I do think that we do need to use binary bonds for something else. I do agree with that. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe and the thing is, once they go to that next phase HQ18 and we get that very last defensive prime core, we got to use this stuff for something. I mean, like, yeah, you can use it for G metal cores, but you get junk G metal cores all the time. So what are we going to be using the prime core shards for? We need something. So more people saying better planning. David Lee says better planning. Track says they need a project manager and a whip. Man, you guys are hilarious. This is why I stopped to read this because so in the job I do, so my new job that I'm doing now that I'm doing in the military, I'm basically making computer based training. And just looking at we're not doing game development, but I do a lot of stuff with computers. And I actually showed a couple of my friends from Transformers. Um, I showed them just how detailed my like I this is like 2 months ago, and I had every task that I was supposed to do set out from that time 2 months ago until the end of the year, and it was just listed out for me. It was very clear. There was never any confusion about what I was supposed to be doing, and I think that they need something similar here. Waza says that I should be the project manager. I actually did do some studies in project management, and so like a lot of the stuff that I look at here really irritates me because I'm just cringing because I do have that experience. And then Waza for TFEW Prime Minister. Jamie Carpenter says got my vote. Jacada Jacada says you mean give a roadmap. Now I will say, Jacada showed me a roadmap for this about 2 or 3 weeks ago now for one of his other games, and it was just very transparent, and it without giving too much details. And I think here in Transformers Earth Wars, it's like everything's like a deep dark secret, and that's why the newsletter changing to Thursdays kind of pissed so many people off because it's like we're just gonna get blindsided by stuff constantly. That's the concern. Let's see. B Game says new skin core that gives a different ability when you equip it or add an element to. Yeah, no, I could see that. So lots of good ideas in there. I hope Space Ape is listening. But I'm gonna move on with my list, and the next thing on my list, a better war matching mechanic. And I've been saying this for some time, but I think you know it's been a lot of times where, especially with top teams just sitting up there, they're calling each other out, and I was like, don't talk about it, be about it. Like if you think, you know, if you want to go up there and diss each other in Discord and stuff like that, then now you know what, pull up. We need a mode when you can just go tell another alliance that if you talk about it, be about it. Let's pull up and we can settle this right now. I would love to see that, and I think it would also be beneficial to other alliances because instead of, now at the same time, I think it's going to allow a lot of people to dodge smoke because it's going to be some people to be like, oh man, that alliance is too tough. So you have to do some balancing with it. But some people, let's be honest, some dudes would just flat out cheat. Some people would have like an alliance family, and they would just keep matching with each other. So and it'd be somebody with an alliance full of alternate accounts or something like that. And those are the things you got to protect yourself against. But there's got to be a way to have us have a better war matching mechanism. And at the end of the day, we'll have to see how it goes because Waza made a good point in the chat. There is going to be a new war thing that's coming out with space. Space Ape was saying for a while. Um, he says he can't wait to be disappointed. Hopefully, it's something. Just give us something new. We've been sitting up here with the same. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking about that, that really segues really well into my third topic, bro. Effect changes have been war effects just stay the same for like a year at a time, a year and a half at a time, and I felt like that's what was keeping things fresh. But the problem is, if you don't already have the bots and you go make an elemental change and you don't already have the bots, then people get frustrated and people quit. Now I'm a super competitive guy, and not to the point that I'm going to stress myself out that if I don't get a 300 every single war, then I'm trash. I had started getting to that point before, but I was like, you know what? Nah, I can do this, and whatever I get. But usually, it's been a lot of 300s. A couple 285s, 275s here and there, stuff like that. But um, sw- switch it up, and it ain't got to be everywhere. Just do it in Prime League, but switch it up some. We were doing really great with that, and people were learning new strategies. People were changing their bases more often. Now all we do is just copy, and that's it's making the game less fun. I see Big Joe joined the chat. Thanks for joining, Big Joe. Okay, and Jacada actually had a good plan for what I was saying is they bring in diminishing returns, face the same alliances too many times in a set period, and you stop earning. Yeah, I mean, you have to think about it a little bit harder, but you do have to set up some kind of mechanic for if you have automatic, like if you can challenge somebody to a war where you just can't challenge them again right away, and that would be cool. All right, and then the next one I want to talk about. This one people been asking for a while, but I'd like to see customizable loadouts, loadouts or setups just for different stuff. Like especially, and I think it would actually make Space Ape a lot more money because what I mean is, if I go use a bot and I go use it on offense and I got this one power core on it, then I can't. There's been times where I want to use a different core on offense than I want to use on defense, and I would like, or there might be a different core that I want to use in raid than I want to use in war. So or not having to necessarily remove a core to go put an XP core up there or a Golden Lagoon core on there. I would love to see it where, hey, this is the situation, and you could just use, at a minimum, just offense, defense. This is my core. So that's what I'm kind of looking at. Um, and then the last thing, and it's probably, well, obviously, if it's number one, that's going to be my most important thing. they gotta plan better, and it's already been said in the chat. I would love to change the bot release strategy. One of the things that I want to actually see is, so you got a lot of moving pieces. You have your combat bot release, you have your endurance bot release, and somewhere in there you get the legacy that you got to fit it in there. So it's two things that I was looking at really heavily, and the first thing is that most people, they get paid every couple of weeks. So what we have now when we look at things is have you have, like, so like right now this is endurance week. What'll probably happen, they'll have a 10K next week, and they'll probably have like a 500K or something the week after that. And week 4 is always the 50K. So a couple of things, I think that 50K could honestly, we honestly could go up. Now that we got mayhem mode, it could go up to like 87.5K, and then we could just use that as like the combat bot endurance event or something like that. Because now, and then, but you have to add the 5-star combat to that. And then 4 weeks later, you would have the, you have the bot endurance event. And then somewhere in between week 4 and week 8, you could have the 70K for the legacy batch. But with the release dates, what I'm focused on more is, I think we should actually do away with 5-star batches. I think that 5-star batches, and I was talking to some of my fellow playtesters about this, but 5-star batches I think is antiquated. And I see Soldier joined the chat. Thanks for joining. And I also see the Walsvik Wealth Management joint. Thanks for joining, guys. But so we got these three things. We got legacy, endurance, and combat that are all typically slightly larger events. I was actually watching one of Waz's videos. I think it was probably a cut from one of his previous live streams. Um, well, actually, I know it was because I watched that live stream. And one of the things that he was talking about is the events are getting a tiny bit too free to play friendly. My only somewhat counter argument is that with the 50K event, they're only giving away a 4-star. Bump that up to 87.5 and make it an event for a 5-star. But the problem is they want to sell that 5-star combat or weapon. Um, Sell it the week before. Sell it the week before. Do something but you have to plan this stuff a little bit better. But also get rid of the 5-star batches, bro. And here's proof that it works, because you already do something similar with the combat bots. If you just drip feed, like, say, like right now we're about to do an endurance event for Dreadwing and for Wing Saber, and after we can go through the whole saga, and a lot of the people that hit events real hard, they'll have Dreadwing and Wing Saber maxed out. So when the next endurance bot comes in there, you could just slip these bots into the batch and everything would be fine. Now, another reason why I wanted to do this is because instead of working on 5 bots at a time, this is what usually happens. We work on 5 bots at a time for a batch. 2 or 3 of the bots are actually complete trash, and so we wind up arguing about it in playtest for extended periods of time. Now, don't get me wrong, having a good, healthy debate, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I found is, over time, we would lose time that we could be using to balance the bot, just arguing like secondary and tertiary parts of a bot's ability, and we wind up not making progress on the bot. Now, that might be a flaw in playtest itself, but I think that if you had a couple of if you made a batch overall, and we should be waiting for a batch break instead of waiting for the batch. Like, and I was telling people for a while, I could always predict the batch because the batches were coming pretty much quarterly every year, every quarter, at the end of every quarter. But then you have a quarter like this one where they didn't release a batch, and so it leads to the question: is people constantly asking you, "Well, when's the next batch?" Now they're starting to ask, "When's the next batch? When's the next batch of G1s? When's the next batch of Ability 11s?" But I think if they did, like, say we go get a bot and it's not a legacy bot, we're just changing the bot from or we're just getting the 4-star bot and putting them into the batch, which honestly we shouldn't have to do much of anymore because we do have the legacy project. So then you just have the legacy and the endurance bots. You can put those bots into the batch the following saga, and everything would be cool. But what that allows Space Ape to do on their end is that would allow them to just work on one bot at a time, not working on five and having arguments about five different bots. And then, you start the chat for all the 5 stars, and then, you just start arguing about the same two bots that you want to be better. Bro, like, just it'll allow you to just work on one bot at a time. And then, so if you got two developers and Dale, so you can have one person working the legacy bot, you can have one person working the endurance bot, and then you would be able to bring it out earlier. And then you would have one person that is working, let's see, endurance legacy, and then you have one person that can work the combat or the weapons. So yeah, and that's my point though. The comment came in there. Problem is, no one's going to compete for a 4-star bot like they will for combats. Um, it's always make it always be a 5-star. But yeah, Brother Concrete, one of my good friends and members, joined, and yeah, you won something in the a giveaway earlier. So hit me up after the stream or whatever. I might not answer right away. I still haven't eaten yet. But yeah, we gave away some 5-star shards and some 5-star combat shards. So anybody that hits me up, I will get back to you and I'll make sure that you get your stuff because I had to actually have Dale send you your stuff. But yeah, hit me up. But all right, man. Like I said, if you didn't tell me what's on your Christmas wish list. Um, I'm gonna go back into the. Oh, I still got to do one more set of giveaways. I almost got away without giving away all my stuff. So let's go back to the giveaway screen, and it's gonna be the last giveaway for the night. So we're gonna do another giveaway for 250 bot shards. Let's see what we got. All right, SETI83 just won the bot shards. So SETI, hit me up and I will get you all squared away. And so we're going to give away the last 250 of the combat shards. Oh, and Rip and Griff just won the 250 combat shards. So congratulations to you guys. Make sure you guys hit me up so I can get you set up with all your free stuff. If anybody knows any HQ14s or under, I know some of you guys got large alliance families. I got some cyber passes to give away too, trying to encourage some new players to continue playing Transformers Earth Wars. So make sure we do that. And make sure if you guys got anything on your Transformers Earth Wars Christmas, wish list, you just saw mine, leave me a comment so that I can, I'm gonna try to start putting the bug in their ears. And if they don't listen, if Space Ape don't listen, maybe Supercell will listen. I don't know, somebody gonna listen. But I don't know if I'm gonna be. Well, nah, I'm gonna take that back. I know I'm not gonna be streaming next weekend. I'll probably do a live video though, but I won't be streaming next weekend. Next Wednesday's Christmas. Um, but I will let you guys know in my community tab what I'm gonna be doing, and on my Discord, I'll let you know what I'm going to be doing in regards to next week. But I will see you at some point next week, and I'll see you in the Deceptilab. I mean, I'll see you on the battlefield. Damn, I'm getting my words messed up. So yeah, see you next time, and see you on the battlefield. Freezius out.